Hey everyone, I'm back. Got some juice. I'm on my lunch break today. Just wanted to let you guys see. I like to, I don't know if you call it shake, but basically kind of mix up the juice because it'll settle. Wow, this one is super spicy. With this juice I put about 3, handfuls. How the ginger will come just as a big piece where it's shooting off. I put about 3 of those in the juicer this time. Man, this one is spicy. Can you guys guess where I am? Check it out. Grocery outlet, Goodwill. You remember I was talking about that in the other video. Well, this was one of my main spots. And this Goodwill in particular is kind of a special one because this was the first Goodwill that I went to in this city after I moved here. And it's also where I met someone special to me. And I'll probably tell you more about them in the future, but yeah, I just wanted to show you guys that I'm back. Like I said, I used to go to Goodwill multiple times a week, sometimes every day, because where I live there's about 5 or 6 Goodwills and even more thrift stores. But yeah, habits. I think the topic of this video is going to be habits, and I'll just let the Most High talk through me. But habits, they basically run our lives, at least our subconscious and our unconscious. And there's this book, I believe it's The Power of Habit, I think is what it's called. If I remember, I'll link it down below. And yeah, basically I think in one part of that book it talks about how most of your life is just habits, like muscle memory as they call it, or as I've heard it's called, where you just do things automatically. You don't even, you wake up in the morning and whatever your routine is, whether it's going to the bathroom or brushing your teeth or whatever you do, it's because of habits. It's because you've done things so many times that it just becomes automated, essentially. And I think that's the point from the book is, if we had to think about everything that we do every day, if we had to think about breathing, and if we had to think about our heart beating, and if we had to think about going to the bathroom and eating and everything like that, we wouldn't have enough time to think about lots of other things, especially like higher evolved things like being creative, art, projects, all kinds of stuff like that. If all of our time was just taken up by the basic essentials of how our body is to move around and how our body operates, then we wouldn't have the mental capacity to do more important things, bigger things. So anyways, yeah, our brain is so advanced that it tries to automate or however you want to say it, everything that it possibly can. So, like with driving, that's a good point. I believe it said in that book, it mentioned driving, which I thought was a good example, because, when, at least for me, from my perspective, when I first started driving, it was like nerve wracking. It was like, white knuckled. I'm like looking around, constantly looking at the speedometer and feeling the wind blow the car around. And now it's just automatic. Now I just get in, and I'm flying. And I'm going from point A to point B. Not a whole lot of thought, really, So it's interesting, because I think in the video it used a specific example of, say you live somewhere and you park in the same spot roughly every day. It's like you get in your car, you look in the rear view mirror, and you back up, and then you start going. And how many times do we do things like that, and we're already down the road, and we're like, I didn't even think about doing that. Like, I don't even consciously remember doing that. Or, say for instance, locking your car, or locking your front door, or, countless things, turning the faucet off. It's like, they're just automated things that our brain and our body's done so that we can focus on more important things. And I think that will happen with anything in this life, or at least unless we become conscious of something, unless we intentionally put thought into changing our habits and doing things differently, then they'll become automated, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. So, like for example, nowadays with the smartphones, it's like, and this is my work phone, but things just get automated. So like, at least for me, or maybe for some of you, in the earlier days of smartphones, it was like an unconscious starting of a habit of, you wake up, you grab your phone, and you start looking at it, doing things, and a lot of people are in that habit. And it takes conscious effort to not be in that habit, because the way that our society is, and the way that things are done now, you use your phone for so many things constantly, that unless you intentionally set aside time to not use it, then it's going to use you. And you're going to be on it from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to sleep. And for me, I'm actively every day trying to not allow that to happen. And I'm not allowing it to happen. Every day I wake up, I have my routine, and the first thing on my list is, don't touch the phone. Leave the phone alone. Even if my monkey brain, or whatever you want to call it, because I've heard it referred to as a monkey brain, or whatever you want to call it, your lower nature or whatever, it wants to get right on that phone. It's thinking, what are my emails? What are my notifications on this platform or that platform? And if you let that run your life, then it's going to go by really quick. And that just reminded me of the saying, stop and smell the roses. Is, I think there's kind of two ways to interpret that, where, you can be busy, and so busy where your schedule is booked up, but with productive things. Like, say for instance, you're busy, but part of that busyness and part of your schedule is setting aside an hour in the morning where you don't touch your phone. Whereas on the other hand, you could be so busy because you immediately get on your phone and one thing leads to another. You see one thing, and then it leads you here, and then it leads you there, and then next thing you know, hours have gone by, or the day's over. Because at least from my perspective and my experience, in the past, I've had days where the entire day was on that phone, and I'm not proud of that, but that's what happens when you don't intentionally not allow it to happen. So yeah, let me know in the comments if you've ever had any experience like that, or if you're actively struggling with cell phone addiction or social media addiction, or if you're combating it. And if you're not, think about maybe in the morning making sure, if you can, 30 minutes to an hour where you're not on your phone or you're not on certain apps. So like for me, for instance, I have to get on my work phone at a certain time. So I make sure I wake up a little bit earlier, so I have that block of time, which is about 30 minutes or so before I even turn on my work phone. And then I'll turn on my work phone, I'll see where it wants me to go for that day, and then I put it on airplane mode and I put it aside until I have to leave my house or until I have to start heading to that job. And the whole time my personal phone, the one that's recording this video, it's been on airplane mode all night, or it's been turned off all night. And so for you, that might look like you doing something similar, where you structure your phone usage if you have more than one phone. Or even if you have one phone, there's apps now, like I know Opal is one that I use, and there's countless others where you can set a password and it'll lock you out of certain apps all day from one time to another. So like for me, I have it on my personal phone where I'm locked out of Facebook and Instagram and certain apps all day, 9 to 5. And then if you have an iPhone, right in the settings, I think there's like a screen time permission thing where you can set to have apps be unavailable. So for me, I've got it set so that, Safari and basically every app except like Maps or something like that I might actually need is blocked all night. Basically, I think it's from like 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. is how I have it set. So I have both of those two systems working together, so that it's like one starts and the other stops, and then one stops and the other start, and then they merge together where I think I only have maybe like 1 or 2 hours at the end of the day where I can use some of the apps like Instagram or Facebook or something like that. And I intentionally did that a few months ago, maybe about 6 months ago, because the screen time was telling me I was on my phone for like 4 hours a day. And I'm like, how is that even possible? Like, and it's just a minute here, a minute there, 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there. It's like it adds up, and your attention, the monkey brain or whatever you want to call it, it just gets sucked in and it goes from one thing to another. So yeah, back to habit. Like I said, I'm here, I'm out front of grocery outlet and the Goodwill, and it takes conscious effort to break habits. So part of me being here is solidifying this new habit of every time I would go to a Goodwill, now I'm gonna make a video. That's what my plan is right now, is every time I would have gone to Goodwill, I'm gonna make a video. And my goal right now is to upload every day. Some days it doesn't work out, especially with the whole phone storage thing, and with my time. Sometimes I don't have enough time. And I shouldn't even say that, because I really do have enough time. I just have to prioritize it and feel passionate about it, because the last couple of days I haven't been feeling the most energetic and the most ready to make inspiring videos. But I still have been trying, and I still have been doing. So yeah, let me know in the comments if you have experience with any habits that you're trying to break, or if you've broken habits and how you did it. and what it was like and what kind of habits they were. So I'll probably make, well, not probably, I definitely will make other videos in the future about some of the habits I've broken. So like I used to smoke cigarettes, and it's been coming up on 2 years now that I haven't smoked any cigarettes. And also that includes vaping, because I, back and forth. If you are anything like me or in that scene, that community is like vaping, cigarettes nowadays, they're almost interchangeable in a way if you've done both. Because I would go from one to the other, back and forth, and I stopped smoking cigarettes for many, many years and vaped, just vaped. And then I started to kind of learn about how many chemicals and all the toxic things with vaping. So then I went back to cigarettes for a few months, and then I was like, yeah, this is not right. I shouldn't be doing either of these, really, right? I shouldn't be addicted to anything that's not good. So yeah, cigarettes, vaping, junk food, bad food. Definitely used to eat a lot more bad food, and yeah, watching TV, video games, stuff like that. So I'll make more videos on those, but I've made a lot of progress with those, and I just want to help encourage you guys to become your greatest version, because that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to become my greatest version, and part of it is now posting videos and hopefully helping you all become your greatest version. And the thing is with habits is at least from my experience, you can't really just get rid of a bad habit. You have to flip it. You have to exchange it with a good habit. So you have to kill one and start another. So I was just thinking, it's like with the Indiana Jones thing, if any of you guys remember that old school Indiana Jones, where he's got something in his hand, he's trying to grab the gold, and he like switches it, and almost kind of, at least for me, imagine that in your mind in a way, but maybe not that fast. It takes time, where it's one thing is taking the place of another. And so for me, I've had to do other things to replace those habits, which I'll go more into in another video, because I'm on my lunch break right now. So I usually try to keep videos between 15-20 minutes on my lunch break, so then I have a couple minutes to reflect. And I have this little book I've been keeping it in my pocket. It's got some goals, and I'd recommend you all to do that too, because we got thoughts going through our minds constantly, like clouds. And unless you like reach up, grab it, and write it down, and continue to see it through and follow it, then they're just going to go by, and you're going to forget. And that reminds me, one thing my 6th grade teacher told me, Mr. Donahue, John Donahue, which I haven't talked to him since middle school, but if somehow you're seeing this, thank you. You were one of the most influential teachers that I had. And I remember, it's crazy, that was almost 20 years ago, and I still remember what he told me. He said sometimes when he's going to bed and he has those ideas that come to him when he's starting to nod off, and he gets a great idea, he'll take one of his pillows, or he'll grab a pillow, or he'll grab something, and he'll throw it by the door. And then in the morning, he'll wake up and be like, why is this over here? And he'll say, oh, because of that idea I had. Let me write that down real quick. So I think that's a great tip. And, because sometimes you can't write down your ideas immediately. Sometimes you have to try to hold on to them. At least for me, when I'm driving, it's like, yeah, I can try to pick up my phone and write it down, but sometimes I start swerving, and it's just not safe. So you want to kind of try to develop something like that for yourself as a reminder. And I'll probably go more in depth on that and some of the other things that he helped me with. But Yeah, habits take effort to change, and your life's ruled by habits. So if you're going to be addicted to anything, be addicted to positive things, like positive fitness. True juice. One love. All right, well, I love you guys. On that note, I'm going to take another sip of juice and end the video. I love you all. Peace, love, unity, respect. One love, one heart. And thank you all for watching. And if anything resonated with you, if you got anything out of this video, or you feel you want to share something, please go ahead, comment down below, and yeah, I'm trying to grow this community. So thank you. Have a great rest of your day. Later.